Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. Hope you have a great time. Enjoy the video. Yeah, and tonight we're going to do my February TBR, or correction, my February Pile of Possibilities. So stay tuned. Okay, before we get into the books, I just want to remind everyone that we got our January live for our Fright Club Book Club read. And yeah, it was chosen by Sophie from In Sophie's Books, who's our special guest. So it's going to be three of us, Chris, myself and Sophie. And we're going to be talking about The Drift by C.J. Tudor. Yeah, and this is all part of Polar Horror. I had mixed feelings about the book, but I'm not going to say any more until Sunday. And remember that's on Kritz's channel this time. We kind of alternate. So I hope to see you guys there. Yeah. Okay, what am I reading right now? I'm reading Volume 1, The Gunslinger by the Dark Tower. And I'm loving it. And it's a reread for me. I'm going through the entire Dark Tower. And I'm joining a few people on our Discord. So I hope you can join us too, yeah, and just go on this adventure with us. It's my favourite series of all time, and I know a lot of people get stuck on the first book, and they don't like the first book, so they don't continue. People, look, I love the first book. It's not for everyone, but come and join us. Get through the first book, and you'll see the story explodes from there. So yeah, I hope you join us on the Dark Tower, and this is Volume 1, The Gunslinger, and just take note that this is the initial edition that I'm reading. It's illustrated, but he wrote it when he was 18, so he actually revised. He did a revised edition which has got a bit more meat to it, and it's closer to what he actually hoped for. So the transition between this book and book number 2 is a bit smoother, but this is what I got, so this is what I'm reading. Okay, then for our Fright Club February pick, which is Gothic, and it's The Haunting of Velkwood by, I think, Gwendolyn Pike. I didn't write it down, it's up there. And yeah, our special guest is Jen from Literary Love 123, and I've been looking forward to reading this book for a long time. I've heard such amazing things on BookTube, and it'll be a reread for Jen, but it was one of her favourite books of last year. So yeah, she's got no problem with rereading it. And let me just say very quickly what it's about. It's a chilling novel about 3 childhood friends who miraculously survive the night. Everyone, their suburban neighbourhood, turn into ghosts. Apparently this particular neighbourhood, just disappears. So it's a very different kind of haunting story, and I'm there for it. I'm looking forward to reading it. Don't have a physical copy. It's going to be on my Kindle. So yeah, it's a Haunting of Velkwood, everyone. Oh, and once again, it's on our Discord, Fright Club. So if you're keen to join us for February, I'm going to link everything down there below. With Chris, myself, the Discord, special guests, everything. And just pop in and say hello on our Discord. Yeah. Okay, another one of my favourite booktubers, Nikhil from Esteem, has also got a Discord, and I'm doing a read along with him and others in the Matthew Corbett series by Robert McCammon from Swan Song, Boy's Life. And yeah, it's an amazing series. The first one, I can't remember the name now. It's about witchcraft, which is not normally my thing, but it was elevated by his writing, and it ended up being an amazing story. Amazing characters. And the second book, which I'm reading on my Kindle possibly, although I might be getting a surprise, so I cheated it a bit, looked at my wife giving me gifts again. So the second book is called The Queen of Bedlam by Robert McCammon, And this is investigating New York City's first serial killer in 1702. So this is historical horror basically, as was the first. A magistrate's clerk, Matthew Corbett, contemplates working with an elderly asylum resident who may hold the key to the killer's identity. Besides that, I'm going in blind. Matthew Corbett is a very interesting character, very intuitive. I can kind of see things that other people can't see. And yeah, I really enjoyed the first book. So I think I'm going to love this one, because I love me some serial killers. Yeah. So that is, The Queen of Bedlam. And I love the cover as well, which I might be getting. Okay, and another readathon I try and take part in every year for February, and that is Folklore February by Kat's Novel Adventure of my friend. And I had a lot of fun looking for books on Kindle, like kind of horror books, even extreme horror books about fairies and fairy tales. And yeah, I've come up with a couple, and I couldn't help myself, and I'm going to do this, sorry my baby, because it's funny. And we were coming up with all sorts of scenarios for horrors, for fairy tales, and we thought about Pinocchio and his nose. And my wife came up with this, so please don't blame me. So let's imagine, like, let's say Cinderella or Snow White sitting on Pinocchio. And anyway, she starts singing, "Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies." So, yeah. And I went even further. I said, what if Pinocchio had a brother? Okay, we're going to stop there. There could be extreme horror, extreme erotic horror, I don't care. But we had a lot of fun last night. But I did come up with 2 books that I'm going to possibly read for Folklore February. And the first one is called The Asylum, Mental Asylum, for Fairy Tale Creatures. And apparently in this one, it's an asylum, is built surrounded by a forest of thorns. So the inmates, so evil creatures and forgotten souls, maybe Snow White and 7 Dwarfs or whatever, and they're locked in an asylum. So that sounds like kind of crazy, kind of mad. And it was dirt cheap on Kindle, so if it's not dark enough, that's okay. It's short stories, I'll just kind of dip my toes into it. As long as Pinocchio's not there. Yeah. Up later. And another one I bought, which was also like 20 Rand, which is like less than $1. It's called Zombie Fairy Tales. Yes, all the fairy tale creatures are zombies. So you can imagine Little Red Riding Hood walking through the forest to her grandma's house, and she's not there to say hello to her grandma, she's there to eat her. That's what the blurb says anyway. So yeah, that could be fun, except I might keep that for Zombie-thon, but I have got some other books for Zombie-thon as well. So yeah, I'll be joining Kat on this adventure. Okay everyone, now for probably the most graphic novel of the lot. Never mind Pinocchio. And we got Exquisite Corpse by Poppy C. Bright. And apparently this is very dark, but just brilliantly written. And I loved Lost Souls, and she had a short story collection I read. A lot of books, a lot of stories from there I did enjoy, some I didn't. But yeah, this is supposed to be a masterpiece. And let me just read a little bit. To Serial Killer, or Serial Slayer, Andrew Compton. Murder is an art. The most intimate art. After feigning his own death to escape from prison, Compton makes his way to the United States with the ambition of bringing his arts to new heights. Tortured by his own perverse desires, drawn to possess and destroy young boys, Compton inadvertently joins forces with J. Byrne, a dissolute playboy who has pushed his arts to limits even Compton hadn't previously imagined. Okay, yeah, and then there's this boy involved, and so these two men, these two serial killers, perverts, whatever, kind of, I think they join kind of forces, and they're on this kind of I don't know, sounds very messed up. Sounds a lot more messed up than other stuff that I've read. Sort of into the mind of a serial killer, really twisted, seductive. What? Seductive? Yes, that's a word. Serial killer, and yeah, it just sounds disgusting. But I know the way that this author writes, so I'm seriously looking forward to it. And that is Exquisite Corpse. Okay, another book on my Kindle that I've been dying to get to for a while now is Brother by Anaya Allborn, short novella I think. And this, according to Goodreads, follows a teenager determined to break from his family's unconventional and deeply disturbing traditions. And from what I read of the blurb, yeah, these disturbing traditions involve murder, young women screaming, maybe the garden full of corpses, and perhaps, and I don't think this is a spoiler, some sort of cannibalistic or vile behavior. And this house, or this farmhouse, is far away from everyone, so nobody can hear them scream. But the actual thing about this book is a brother, I think, and he wants to break away. He doesn't like this lifestyle anymore. And so, he meets this girl, boy meets girl, but his other brother wants to do something about this. Maybe get him back into the family circle. Yikes. Yeah. But I heard this is a very deep, quite a powerful read. Heard good things on Goodreads and on BookTube, so I'm going to give it a go. And that is Brother. Okay everyone, my TBR just keeps getting, Pile of Possibilities gets better and better. Now we got Brom, Lost Gods, also a recent gift that was imported, and I'm so happy. And excuse Layla panting in the background. We are hot people. I almost came onto the show with a wet t-shirt. It is like close to Hopper State, 9 p.m. and it is freaking hot. Insane. We've got all the fans in our house going. Okay, enough of that. Right, let me tell you what this is about. Fresh out of jail and eager to start a new life, Chet Morgan and his pregnant wife Trish leave town to begin again. But an ancient evil is looming, and what seems like a safe haven may not be all it appears. Snared, and murdered by a vile, arcane horror. So he gets murdered. Chet quickly learns that pain and death are not unique to the living. Now the lives and very souls of his wife and unborn child are at stake. To save them, he must journey into the bowels of purgatory in search of a sacred key promised to restore the natural order of life and death. Alone, confused and damned, Chet steels himself against unfathomable terrors awaiting him as he descends into death's, Stygian darkness. Okay? Yeah, so I love any books to do with hell, purgatory, yeah, very imaginative, and yeah, I just love some of the illustrations in this book. It's just so stunning, just so cool. Yeah, because before he became an author, he was actually an accomplished artist. But yeah, I love this, and I'm really going to enjoy this book. That is Lost Gods. Okay, my 9th book, maybe I should have put it a little bit further because it's a reading event. But yeah, this is going to be like a palate cleanser, and I joined this last year, and I'm joining it again because I've got the 4 great novels of Sherlock Holmes. And this is by Jim from Mystery and Mayhem. This is his baby, and the event is called Holmes is Where the Heart Is. I like that. And I know that this one, I read and enjoyed Study in Scarlet last year. With Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and just this man's ability to solve murder mysteries, see things other people don't see. And yeah, it was a fun read. So the second one I'm going to be reading is A Sign of Fall. And I'm kind of looking forward to the next one, because that's Hound of the Baskervilles, and that's a reread for me. and that would kind of be a bit darker, more gothic than the other ones. But still, this one sounds interesting. I'm not going to tell you about it, it's too long-winded. But yeah, I'm going to read some Sherlock Holmes. It's a nice palate cleanser. Okay, the next one was also an imported gift from my wife. And I'm going to start it next month, but I'm going to take my time with this. It's not thick, but it's fun and awesome and something I've been wanting to read for a long time. Kind of non-fiction. But yeah, that's Paperbacks from Hell. Grady Hendrix, trip through the 70s and 80s of the old horror paperbacks. The most awesome era of horror, to be honest, in my opinion. Although I've read some really good recent horror, but I can't wait just to kind of just slowly read, take in all the beautiful visuals and just his take on each book. And yeah, I don't know anything yet, but this is the treasure of mine, and I'm going to read it through the whole year, probably next year and the year after. So it's going to be like almost like a what the right word is. Yeah, I'm just going to say it's beautiful. So yeah, I'll start reading it next month. Oh, and finally, yeah, Ollie from Criminoli, Garborg's guy, and he's got something called The Wasted Weekend. Yeah, and I think you read trashy stuff. Sorry, I haven't read any of the videos explaining, but I'm pretty sure it's just trashy stuff. And I think this is pretty trashy. Creepshow. George Romero and Stephen King. So I'm going to read this, or at least a couple of stories in here. Father's Day and The Lonesome Death of Geordie Burrell, who in the movie version of this is actually Stephen King. You should watch it. It's brilliant. So yeah, I'm gonna pick this up as well. So happy to get all these gifts. And I know some more are coming. Okay, Ryan, so that's my February pile of possibilities. Let me know what you're reading for February. Have you read any of these books? Talk to me in the spaces down below. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this. Oh, if you do, be sure to give me a thumbs up, a like and subscribe. And take care of yourselves. Look after yourselves and look after others. Until next time, keep those pages turning, and cheers.